Hello, welcome to today's video. This is page 108 of our book. Music Box is the name of this music here, the name of this piece. And this is by Cornelius Gurlitt. Not sure who that is, but this is a nice little piece here. And it's going to be in an upper position. Both hands are treble clef, D position. So let's go ahead and listen to a demonstration of what Music Box sounds like. So we have a mixture of non-legato a few times, mostly for the second note of the third beat of the left hand, sometimes in the right hand as well. But this is a nice 3/4 time piece. And take a look, it says here, the practice suggestions that are written at the top of page 108 is to block each left hand measure, and all measures fall within the D major pentachord or pentascale. So what it's asking us to do is simply to block the intervals. We start here with the fifth in the left hand for the first measure, and A is repeated twice there. And that's to just feel that there's a fifth there. Measure 3 is the second, and then measure 4 is a third. So we're just measuring what the intervals are, and these are to be played melodically. Notice that the first two beats are two-note slurs, and then there's non-legato lift in between beats 2 and 3. Second, third. Now it kind of repeats a little bit on the second measure, but the measure number 8 is a little bit different than. If we notice here, let's take a look at our music. So we have here in the left hand F sharp to AA, but then in the left hand here for measure number 8, see if you can see that, it's kind of blurry. And measure number 8 there, it's just a third harmonic interval right there. While the right hand is D, this one was A because of the half cadence. Alrighty, let's go ahead now and let's take a look at the left hand. Again, we have two different dynamics going on for the left hand, well actually for both hands, for first and second systems. The left hand continues the same way pretty much throughout the entire piece for system number 3. Two-note slur with the non-legato on beat number 3. Make sure that you are blocking the 2 so you can get to know the interval, third, fourth, and it's just going down to fifth, and once again it repeats here, second, third. But now notice we are out of D position. We are now playing F sharp, C sharp, with finger number 5. Finger number 2 plays G. So if we were to block all of this, it would be these 3 notes here. And if you take a look, that's going to be kind of like our A sharp, or excuse me, our A major 7 abbreviated chord there. And then we come back to 5 and 3 for D and F sharp, which will complete the triad of D major. Okay, so that's our left hand, always down, up, up, non-legato on beat number 3. And the only difference is those thirds there on measure 8, and then again at the end of measure 16. Alright, so let's go ahead now, take a look at the right hand. After blocking the left hand, remember, play them melodically. Two-note slur, non-legato for beat number 3. And that's all we need to talk about for the right hand, excuse me, left hand. As for the right hand, notice that we are moving up in a pentascale. Eighth notes stopping on a quarter note. Lift, lift. And the third measure, notice that it's going to be all legato. We have a repeated legato here. E, A, lift for A right there. So make sure that you have the lifts, and this is a repeated legato there. So let's go ahead and play that entire first system again. Lifting in between, and you lift for that A, give it a nice natural accent, but not an intended accent. It just comes naturally because of the lift. And then the second system, it is exactly the same as the first, except for the measure number 8. We're only playing in piano now, like an echo. But there is a little difference in the articulation. It mirrors the left-hand articulation. It's a two-note slur. And that's to give emphasis to the PAC, the perfect authentic cadence, and ending on the tonic note D. And that's why we have a lift. Notice that there's a lift right there. The slur ends, lift, and then lift again for D. So let's go ahead and play those two. Listen to the dynamic contrast. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, naturally cadences there on D major, PAC. And then measure number 3, this third system, we have a new melody going on. It's a different section. It's now playing A, E, F sharp, E, F sharp, E. It's a little bit of a sequence there, starting on E, F sharp, lift. And then it moves up instead of down. Usually the sequence moves down in the same direction. This one actually skips way up a fourth. Okay, so we have that disjunct or kind of displaced sequence going on there. I want to give emphasis or mention that when we play the quarter note at the end, we don't want to staccato at the end or lift it, make it short, because we want to hear the difference between the eighth notes and the quarter note. Very clear, distinct difference between those two rhythms, all within the same slur. We want to make sure that we have two eighth notes that could possibly fit in the right hand for that quarter note. So if we were to play eighth notes in the left hand, so it would last for two eighth notes if they were to be played in the left hand. Of course, it's not like that. And so when we play both hands together, once again also mentioning that the right hand, make sure all the notes sound exactly the same dynamic. Whereas the left hand should be a little bit softer since it's just a supporting role, it's an accompaniment. And then we have the lift, the mixed articulations. It would be very easy to play those two lifted, but remember the legato lasts until the end for the right hand, whereas the left hand has the space of silence in between 2 and 3. So when playing together, lift, lift, like that. And then we have a little bit of a variation with the eighth notes now. It's sequenced. Okay, so it goes up like in a little arch pattern. The left hand maintains its similar little two-note slur and then quarter note in the left hand. And then the right hand, notice this, we're now going to be playing once again those, So instead of doing the lift again like we did up here, we have all legato, even until D. So a little bit of a difference in the articulation there by Mr. Gerlant. So make sure that you are playing those all legato when you play the last system. Excuse me. Just a little bit of a difference. Notice notice that I just kind of held there a little bit to emphasize the mixed articulations, and boom, come down for the PAC, D in the right hand. Let's go ahead and listen to all of this again. Music box. It does say at the top to practice the right hand or gain control of the right hand eighth notes by practicing them detached, staccato. I mean, that is a practice technique. I really don't see the need for it for this one here because it's not that difficult of a piece. I mean, if you wanted to play it with a repeat and add some variation, you can most certainly do it that way, but I think we'll just maintain with the legato. We have enough mixed articulation already to make it interesting. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, there you have it. Thank you for listening, and we will see you at next lesson.